Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. As you all know, I am a perfect god among men who makes absolutely no mistakes whatsoever. Why? Because I have a crack team of researchers and scientists to make sure that every single solitary thing I put in my video is absolutely perfect. Not that I need them being the messiah that I am, but even I like to be sure that everything is absolutely What was that?
Hold it right there!
Ugh, it's my most obnoxious fan, douchey McNitpick.
I've watched every single one of your videos 37 times and have a shitload of mistakes that you should be hanged for! Hanged for!
Okay. As you probably guessed, I don't have a team of researchers and scientists to check over everything I do. It's all just me or the occasional onlooker. So, every once in a while I make one or two little mistakes.
35,670 to be exact!
Alright! So, to make up for all my little faults, what do you say we take a look back at all the times I messed something up?
Let's, Nostalgia Critic, let's!
So, sit back and enjoy this laundry list of my greatest failures. This is the top 11 Nostalgia Critic muck-ups.
It's fuck-ups, you fuck-up!
Thank you.
Everything you know is wrong. Black is white, up is down, and short is long. And everything you thought was just so important doesn't matter. Everything you know is wrong. Just forget the words and sing along. All you need to understand.
Number 11.
Everything you know is wrong.
The actors from Power Rangers didn't leave because of their race.
Although I sort of knew this to be true and was really making more of a joke about it, I said in my Power Rangers review that two of the actors left because the black boy was in a black suit and the Asian girl was in a yellow suit, which wasn't very PC. The actual leaving of the actors was not for that reason. In fact, the Red Ranger disappeared at this time as well. Why did they leave? I'm not really sure. Some say it was a money issue, others say it was because they weren't popular enough. I personally don't know. And to be honest, I don't really know why you need an excuse to leave the show. But the one that I gave wasn't it. However, I still think it was a little more than a coincidence that the black kid was put in a black suit and the Asian kid was put in a yellow suit. It's like giving a Mexican Power Ranger a sombrero. It just doesn't seem right. So again, apologies if anybody got the wrong idea.
You should be waterboarded in cow urine!
Shut up!
You shut up!
All you need to understand is
Number 10.
you know is wrong.
The Banshee isn't the scariest nostalgic moment, you friggin' idiot!
Again, thanks for the comment. Now, to be fair, this was the very first top 11 list I ever did, so it only makes sense that it wouldn't be necessarily the best. I put the Banshee from Darby O'Gill and the Little People as number 1 because it really did scare the shit out of me. And it still kinda does. I just wet myself right now, it's that scary. But the more I look at it, the more I realize it is a pretty cheap effect. If you didn't see the movie like a lot of people did, you didn't have any time to let the atmosphere build up, which I think is a big part of it. It probably would have been wiser to put Willy Wonka's Demon Tunnel at number 1 and then maybe throw the Wheelers in from Return to Oz in the other spot. But I don't care, I still find this bitch scary, even if no one else does. Still, I should have thought more about it and what would be universally scary as opposed to what just scares me. If I just went by what scares me, half the Pauly Shore movies would probably be on the list. Not one of my better picks, but just keep in mind that it was quite literally my first pick.
Stupid! You're so stupid! All you need to understand is
Number 9.
you know is wrong.
Why were you wearing eyeliner in the Superman countdown?
This is one of my more embarrassing fuck-ups. I actually filmed this review right after I filmed another certain sketch. A certain sketch that will never be named again.
Melvin, brother of the Joker. Melvin, brother of the Joker.
At least play a different song! So yeah, I thought I got all the makeup off from that sketch, but obviously a dozen emails saying I look like a goth drag show proves me wrong. So I had to do the whole review looking like a pussy, end of story. I mean, it's not like I walk around wearing other women's apparel all the time. Lucy! Where did you get that?
From my deepest hate of you! I also have a picture of you kissing Divine and doing the can-can with Hitler. Look! He's doing the can-can with Hitler! I'm funny!
I really hate you.
All you need to understand is
Number 8.
you know is wrong.
Those weren't all Drew Strews on posters!
Yeah, it's pretty bad when a tribute to someone's work doesn't have a good chunk of their work. For example, this Star Wars poster wasn't his, and neither was this one for Follow That Bird. This and a couple others were actually done by Stephen Chorney, who is also a wonderful artist working in that same sort of Struzan style. In fact, I found out that he actually is often mistaken for Drew Struzan, so you can understand the mess up. It's good work though. If you don't know his stuff, definitely check out his website, it really kicks ass. With me saying it was Drew Struzan, however, it was just another one of my fuck-ups. But to be fair, Drew Struzan himself sent me an email, I'm dead serious about this, and said that most people that do interviews or stories about him always get the wrong posters. He also said, if anything, I was one of the closest he's ever seen to getting them all right. So,
You moron!
Number 7.
The secret passageway in Baby's Kids isn't impossible.
Now this one I will always defend because I don't think I was wrong on this. If you don't remember the bit, here's how it went. Well, apparently going to the left side of the bookcase drops you off in one room, and going to the right side of the bookcase drops you off in another.
That's just impossible! I mean, think about it!
If a bookcase opens up, it spins around in a circle, so that means that there can only be one room, because if there's a wall separating the two rooms, the bookcase wouldn't open! Now, a lot of people have told me that it can open up and lead to two different rooms if the wall dividing the two rooms stops at just where the bookcase stops turning. True, but here's my argument. If the wall only goes that far, then technically you can just turn the bookcase back a bit and easily squeeze into the other room, meaning you're not just limited to where the bookcase leads you. The only way you couldn't get through this room is if you were the size of a hippo or something. And you're not. You're the size of a fucking little kid. So in my opinion, this still makes no sense. I fucked up? No.
You fucked up!
But to the credit of those who complained about this, I guess I could say that maybe I could have explained it a little better. And that technically can count as a fuck-up then. That's a horrible game anyway, so who gives a shit?
I do! If I can't trust an internet celebrity who watches cartoons and shouts obscenities, then who can I trust?
People with some expertise.
No!
Number 6.
That was a forklift and barbed wire, not a bulldozer.
Yes, this is one of my more obvious mistakes. You don't have to be a construction worker to know the difference between a goddamn bulldozer and a forklift. Yet for some reason, I in fact did call the forklift a bulldozer. I don't know what I was thinking, it's so obviously a forklift. How could I get that wrong? A bulldozer! I'm driving a bulldozer! Plus, as many people pointed out, it forced me to leave out probably one of the most obvious jokes I ever could have put in a review.
He tried to kill me with a forklift, huzzah!
It wouldn't even be so bad if I just said it once, except for the fact that I said it over and over again. A bulldozer! Bulldozer. Bulldozer. I'm driving a bulldozer! So obviously I couldn't just say it was a slip of the tongue. My tongue would be more slippery than a banana peel skating on greasy black ice.
That was forced.
Shut up!
You shut up!
Next number! Number 5.
That wasn't our Carney in Last Action Hero.
Now some of you might not even know what I'm talking about here. First of all, he was in Last Action Hero, wasn't he? He's the guy that dies right before he gets blown up. A little redundant, but whatever. Well, that's not what I said when I first did the review. Somehow I got it mixed up and thought that the actor who played the theater custodian was Art Carney and that this other guy was someone else. When in fact the actor's real name was Robert Prowski. And of course this is the guy Art Carney played. Now I actually caught this mistake fairly early on and actually switched the names around before I sent it out to be posted. But the switchings of the name was pretty obvious. Danny is friends with the projectionist at a movie theater played by Robert Prowski. Prowski offers him an advanced screening. Danny heads to the movie theater where Prowski is waiting. The kid has had an amazing adventure. He reunites with the Prowski character. Well, luckily, I'll never do something like that again. I mean, I'm never gonna mistake Robert Prowski for someone like Art Carney ever again.
But wait a minute! I was the first person to see that review because I waited till 3 a.m. to watch it, and I heard you say Art Carney!
Suck it. Actually, he's right, because for a whole entire day, the wrong version was out. So thousands of people constantly heard me call the wrong guy Art Carney over and over and over. But in all honesty, this wasn't my fault. I sent the corrected version in, but the person who was posting videos at the time accidentally posted the wrong one. And the person who posted that review was Mike Ellis. Now, Mike Ellis has done a lot for the site, he's a lot behind the scenes stuff and technical stuff, but nevertheless, he made a mistake. So, you have anything to say, Mike?
I certainly do. I was new to putting videos up, and you can't blame me for making a mistake every once in a while. So, for what it's worth, I do apologize.
There now, you see, there's no problem too big that can't be solved by a humble apology. Unfortunately, that apology wasn't good enough.
Apologize again!
I'm sorry!
Apologize again!
I'm sorry!
Now lick my feet! Lick my feet! Let go! Now clean up your own blood!
Okay.
Well, water under the bridge. A mistake that didn't last long, but certainly left a long impression. Number 4.
Lizards do eat fish, you big moron!
This is from my Godzilla review. I pointed out that luring Godzilla with fish really didn't make any sense because lizards don't eat fish, they eat bugs. But I've heard that there actually are some forms of lizards that do in fact eat fish, which of course makes my statement wrong. But really, does that excuse this horrible line?
That's a lot of fish.
I still don't get it!
Get one.
Ow! Nothing too much to really say about this one. I said lizards don't eat fish. They do, so let's move on.
Idiot.
Number 3.
How dare you make fun of Mako, you ignorant bastard!
Yes, I'll never hear the end of this one. This all started with the TMNT review, which I like to point out everybody requested me to do and yet got really pissed off when I did it. Does my audience just have multiple personality disorder? Well, anyway, it got to the part where Splinter shows up and I simply didn't think his voice matched. It just sounded way too shaky for me. It wasn't like the Splinters I heard before. Well, this started an outrage from Mako fans. I didn't know who the guy was, but I quickly found out. Apparently he's an incredibly beloved actor, having been nominated for an Oscar and doing constant voiceover work in the hit show Avatar. It also didn't help that the guy died from esophageal cancer, and I made a friggin' cigarette joke in the review.
Each of your brothers.
Oh god, what did they do to Splinter's voice? It sounds like Mr. Miyagi if he smoked a million Marlboros. I eventually posted a video explaining that I had no intention of insulting the guy and even joked about it in my Sidekicks review. So I guess some good came out of it. But the damage was done and the message was clear. Nobody fucks with Mako.
You said it, man.
Number 2.
Your constant spelling mistakes, jackass!
Yes, if you watch my videos, you may notice a pattern that there's a lot of spelling mistakes. It's sort of like if you cross a dyslexic with a complete idiot. I do my best to try to correct my many spelling errors, but no matter how hard I try, they keep getting through. I especially love the one at the end of A Kid in King Arthur's Court. I smash my head to make myself forget about the horrible movie and then misspell one of the words in the credits. A lot of people thought this was part of the joke, that I smashed my head so hard that I got the spelling wrong. Yeah, that was it. But my other spelling errors proved me wrong. There's even an incident where I spell my own name, Nostalgia Critic, wrong. That is inexcusable. I suck! I almost thought about making it a contest. Whoever spots the first spelling error in every future review would get a fucking Xbox. The only downside is there wouldn't be enough Xbox in the world to give out. What can I say? I'm not a bad writer, I'm just a piss poor editor.
That was really stupid.
And the number 1 Nostalgia Critic fuck-up is...
How could you not put Optimus Prime in the top 11 saddest nostalgic moments? You're the devil!
This is gonna haunt me till the day I die. When I did the top 11 saddest nostalgia moments, I left off what many consider to be the saddest one of all time, the death of Optimus Prime, for the Transformers movie.
How could you, you ignorant ass?
Well, it's just that...
He died for your sins!
well, I kinda,
You're going to hell!
well, I mean...
Hell!
Let me explain. You see, I never actually saw the Transformer movie in theaters. I didn't even know there was one until I was a freshman in high school. By that time, I wasn't really into Transformers much anymore, but a friend of mine forced me to watch it anyway. When Optimus Prime died, I thought it was more weird than it was tragic. In fact, the whole film is a bloodbath. Or oil bath, whatever you want to call it. I mean, everyone seems to die. It's like it was the theme of the movie or something. Live life and then fucking die. The end. Buy our products. So I guess it never really left an impression as much as just left me confused. However, it definitely left an impression with other fans, and they were certain to let me know about it. I felt so bad for leaving it out that my next review I turned Optimus Prime into Jesus Christ. Now give me credit, that was nice of me.
Remember, I died for your sins.
But people still to this day can't believe I made such a huge mistake. There were protests in the streets, nations went to war, it tore the world apart. Clearly, there's only one possible thing I could do. To give the situation the dignity that it deserves, I hired one of the greatest generals to read a note of apology that I personally wrote.
Now I freely admit that my method was wrong, but I hope you can understand my motive and will accept this explanation and this apology. Dismissed. Dead hut!
I know that looks like a clip from Patton, but it wasn't. Optimus, dear Optimus, can you ever forgive me?
I died for your sins.
And clearly, I will only die for mine. So that about does it. I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, and I'm sure to make a lot more in the future. And as always, if I ever make a mistake, don't ever be afraid to bring it up. It's the only way I'll learn. Just don't be a grade A asshole like Douchey McNitpick here.
You forgot to mention that the guy who sang in How the Grinch Stole Christmas did sing in the Haunted Mansion.
I'm going to fucking whoop ya!
Well, that too would be physically impossible. How could you find me if you don't even know where I live? Oh, shit! Oh my god!
Come here, you fucking little dick cheese!
Don't run! Don't run! I want to be your friend!
I will make you clean up your own blood!
Made is spelled wrong. Ow! Oh shit, shit, shit! Oh my god! Please don't hurt me! Please don't hurt me! Oh!
Fuck, I really hurt myself. God damn it!